Good evening, my loves. Welcome to this week's edition of Deanna's Coaching Gem. So, welcome to Destination Deanna. I am your host, Deanna, the Love Guide. So, if you're new here, please consider Destination Deanna as your self help learning library for all things love, especially love attraction. Oh, and it looks like there has been some issues with the stream on Facebook. I'm going to go ahead and remove it. There we go. Because I don't want no problems. So, yes, welcome to tonight's live. As always, there's my honey front and center, making sure that he is supporting the movement. Thank you so much, honey. You are the best husband a woman could ever desire. So tonight's topic, dating as a single parent. There's been lots of conversation specifically on my Facebook about single parent woes, right? Like what is going on? What's the stigmas around it? So this message is for my single parents. It's for anyone who is desiring to get back out there on the dating scene and have a more successful dating experience. If you follow me, you know that I'm all about intentional dating, intentionally dating for, long-term relationships, preferably marriage. So my intention for tonight, though, is to specifically remove the stigma from dating if you're a single parent and give you an actual plan that you can follow that leads to a successful dating experience. Now, what I'm not doing, I'm not making light of the intricacies involved in single parenting or dating or a combination of the two. So I'm not making light of that at all. I know that there are difficulties involved, which is why I'm going to give you a plan that you can follow to take away some of those difficulties. Now, before I give you the actual plan, I want to just quickly review 4 single mother setbacks that I want you to avoid before you even start dating. This is kind of like the prep work before the plan. So if you are a note taker, now would be the time to take the notes. And if you're new here and you have questions, feel free to kind of get your thoughts together. We end every live with a Q&A session. So you can feel free to ask any questions you may have then. So here's the prep work, right? We're going to review 4 single mother setbacks that I want you to avoid. The first one is making your children the center of it all. This does not work out for you or the children. It's an unhealthy dynamic. It doesn't leave room for you to just be a person, an individual, to pursue your own pursuits. When you build your entire life around them, it doesn't set up appropriate boundaries for your children either. I'm giving a brief overview here, but I want to remind you that I did a complete live on this very thing called How to Avoid Single Mother Setbacks. And I go into this in more detail. So if you want more detail, you can watch that live. Number 2 is not making space or time for a mate. If you have filled your entire calendar, filled your entire life with responsibilities and things that you need to do, there isn't going to be any space for a mate. So you don't want to do that. Number 3 is allowing your necessary strength to harden you. Now, specifically for my women, when there isn't an active father, when you don't have a male partner, your natural inclination is to, harden, and you become strong in ways that are out of necessity. So that makes complete sense. But when you are going into the phase in your life that you're inviting a partner in, please remember to soften in some of those areas that you've had to harden in. And number 4, allowing your circumstances to make you more masculine or responsible for masculine teaching. I've shared this story before. I have a son, an amazing son. His name is Sire. And when me and his father, went separate ways, I felt this obligation to fill in any gaps of masculinity. And it caused me to be more stern to my son, take away some of my softness. And it wasn't until my now husband, Will, came into the picture and he highlighted for me that my job was not to take on those masculine traits and be responsible for that masculine teaching. My responsibility was to show up in my feminine and be a great mom and play that role. So I just wanted to remind you all, you can make up for the masculine teaching by surrounding your sons and even your daughter, because she needs that as well, with masculine counterparts, family members, your brothers, your uncles, your cousins, or male leaders, teachers, coaches, barbers, anyone that is male, that is a positive figure. You can ask them to kind of step in certain situations to teach those masculine lessons. Now, let's go ahead and get to the plan for success, right? If you go into things with an intention for success, you are more likely to achieve success. So I'm going to make this very plain for you and what you can do when you are a single parent and you're dating. And this applies, I know I have lots of male viewers and supporters as well. You can take these tips also. This is not geared just towards women. This applies to single parents, period. So the single parent dating success plan is to go slow. Go slow. And I'm going to give you an acronym. So go slow. G is give yourself grace. Let's first acknowledge that this is probably not where you wanted to be. You had no intentions of being a single parent. You had no intentions of not having the other parent present and doing it with you. Let's give yourself some grace as you're probably grieving that relationship that is ending. You're probably frustrated by carrying the weight of two people. So give yourself grace. Give yourself grace during this time so you can figure it out. Oh, observation is key. Let's learn from our previous choices and experiences so we don't repeat those same lessons, those same situations and circumstances. So you want to have a stance of observation. You want to be leading with that. Not leading with your feelings, not jumping right in, not rushing to commit. You want to observe the dating scene, observe how you are in it, observe these potential mates. And then you want to start small. Start small. That means don't think every date is going to end in marriage. Every date is not your last date. Let's start small. Start small by preparing yourself, working on yourself. Then the next small step could be just putting yourself out there to be in the vicinity to meet people, right? Just to start conversations, just to kind of get that practice out. Then start small, just date. Just date. Have a good time. Learn how to have conversation where you're observing. Right? And then as you start to date and you have found a potential mate, still small incremental steps. Okay? Don't rush to be exclusive. Don't rush to cut everything off. Take your time. And then L, you want to let love blossom naturally. So you're not forcing things to happen. You are not rushing it along. If you're letting love blossom, that is the natural progression of it. So you're dating intentionally, you're enjoying the process, you're observing, and you're letting bonds grow. You're letting them grow. And only introduce after commitment. And I know that this is probably the most radical of the plan, right? I have told the story about how when I met my now husband, I let him know that he wasn't going to meet my children unless we were committed. I saw no reason at all to involve the children in my dating experience. There's no reason they needed to know every person I was getting to know. They only needed to know people that were going to be in their life as a permanent fixture. So until there was commitment, and in my case, that was proposal. Until we were deciding we were marrying, there was no reason to create a bond with my children. Nope, you and I can date. We can keep it right here. We can get to know each other. We can see if we can build a life. And once we have decided there is ultimate commitment, then we can bring the children in. And that's what I recommend to you. Now, I'm not saying it has to be that exact way. I'm not saying you have to wait for, engagement. I recommend it. Because even in dating, that could end. But there's just really no reason to drag your kids along through you figuring out dating. Think about it. Do you want your children to have memories of every person you went on a date with? Every person you considered? Hopefully it's not a long list, but even if so, don't you want your children to have a foundation of, people, they get to know each other, they fall in love, they marry, right? There's not all of this, convoluted, confusing things. So only introduce your children to someone after there is established commitment. And the last letter is W. Watch for misalignment. So if you follow my teachings, you know that you shouldn't be committing to someone unless there is alignment. So after you've decided to commit solely to one person, you should still be watchful for areas that you're misaligned in. And I'm not talking about small differences in preferences that are allowable. I'm talking about misalignment in fundamental things that are not going to change, that will present an ongoing issue. So you want to be looking for that. You want to be looking for that before you make the ultimate commitment. So that was our plan. Go slow. The single parent dating success plan is to go slow. Give yourself grace. Observation is key. You want to start small. You want to let love blossom. Then you only want to introduce children after commitment. And then finally, you want to watch for misalignment before you make the ultimate commitment. Now, that was the lesson. I pray that it blessed you. Let's get to the Q&A. What questions do you have about dating as a single parent? I've given you the lesson. I've given you my plan for success. If you have any questions about those steps, let me know. Or if you just have general situations that are going on and you'd like some guidance, now would be the time. So go ahead, get your little typing fingers out and ask your questions. And let me head over to the comments. Yes, that's my honey. Only after commitment. Absolutely. Only after commitment. And while I'm waiting to see if any questions come through, I just want to really make a heartfelt invitation for anyone that is watching live and for anyone that will watch this on the replay. We are almost midway through the year 2024. We are almost midway through this year. I can't believe how fast it is going. I am entering into my summer season. As much as I love you all and I have this commitment to, really guiding women on their journeys to, healthy transformational love, I prioritize God and my family before my personal and business pursuits. So I take the summers off. So I'm not going to be doing any lives in the month of June and July. I'll be back in mid-August when my kids go back to school. In the summers, we spend more time together, just traveling, doing fun activities. But more than anything, my kids don't have to go to bed early. So instead of preparing for these lives, I'll be doing things with them. They're so young. I don't want to miss any of those moments, and I don't want to regret or resent the work that I do. So I make sure to take time to pour into my family. So I am teaching my last live course of 2024 in June. The enrollment period ends this Friday, May 31st. So if you want the opportunity to learn from me in a live setting where I'm doing 4 lessons, I do 1 lesson each week. The course is 4 weeks. It's an intensive because it's jam-packed. I do 4 lives, but you're getting anywhere from 8 to 12 lessons in that 4-week time frame. In addition to me, you'll get to meet other women that are on their journey, so you create bonds and you have additional support. You're going to be getting the lessons, but also getting reinforcement through an interactive workbook that I've created for you to follow along with. So go ahead and go to destinationdeanna.com, and you can click on the curriculum tab, or the banner on the front page now takes you directly to the application. You do have to apply because I do have to, for the integrity of the group, make sure that you're a good fit. But this is my last one. I'm not teaching this course again for all of 2024. I don't even know about 2025, but it's my last one this year. I'm on one, and you're going to get the best of me because I'm relaxed. I'm chilling. I don't have a whole lot of things on my plate. So my energy is like here. So if you know that it's time to do something different, it's time to go from, watching the free lives and watching the podcasts and reading the books to really getting some hands-on guidance where I can get to know you, I can give you some direct feedback and give you actual lessons for you to learn and put into play in your love life. So you will see a difference by the end of the 4 weeks. So that's my heartfelt invitation for anyone that is ready to take their love journey to the next level. And I see a comment. Oh, okay. I have a question. What would you say to the woman or man who feels that they have to have their children be a part of the mate selection process? The example is, if little Deborah or Donnell doesn't say yes, we can't date. This is such a good question. Thank you, honey. And my husband is so great about putting the questions up that he and I get pretty often. So thank you so much, honey. I actually recommend the opposite of this, right? Because if your children are a part of your mate selection on the front end, you're doing it backwards, right? You're not teaching them proper order. You are not teaching them proper boundaries, right? Mommy or daddy are people, right? They are a man or a woman, right? And they were that before they became mommy and daddy. And children need to know that. They need to know that you are a person outside of the role you play in their life. And when you're dating, first, it should be about you. It should be about what you enjoy. It should be about your alignment with that person. And I'm a firm believer that if you have done the proper things to vet them, to take the time to get to know their stance on raising children, on discipline, on communication, on consequences. If you have asked all of those questions, you can pretty much see, do we align? And again, align does not mean completely the same. So my recommendation is you focus on dating, focus on yourself. And then once you have that in order and there is commitment established, then The kids are the last layer, not the first. The last layer, because guess what? If you've taken the time to create something with a person, your children are actually going to meet a person with a different energy. They're going to meet them and you're going to be a happier mommy or daddy. You're going to be more relaxed. The comfort level that you have is going to be different when you introduce them to your children. So I recommend flipping it. Do your work on the front end and let the children be the last thing. Great question, honey. Thank you so much for that. So if there are no other questions, I'm going to go ahead and get to my coaching gem and call it a night early. So my coaching gem is, instead of seeing single parenthood as a barrier to a healthy dating experience, see it as added motivation to get it right. So don't keep rehearsing the barriers and the negativity that you may see on social media or hear from friends, family, or out in the universe, right? See it as, you know what? I have added motivation to vet properly. I have added motivation to make sure that I'm healthy enough to date. I have added motivation to make sure I'm accurately observing. I'm not leading with my heart. I'm not attaching too soon. I'm not creating commitment where I haven't been asked, right? You're going about this the right way. Let that be added motivation to get it right. So thank you for those who did tune in. Please remember, this is the last opportunity for you to sign up for my last live coaching course of 2024. Go to destinationdeanna.com to sign up, or if you need a little bit of guidance and you want to talk through it, you can text my team at 214-434-7897, and we can set up a time to specifically talk about what you have going on, and we can make a recommendation about next steps for you. If you're new here, please remember that every Monday we have a new coaching gem where I teach the lesson in the beginning and then we have a Q&A at the end. So set your reminders for 9 p.m. Central Standard Time each week, and we look forward to having you here. Ooh, hold on. I needed this gem 20 years ago. Well, you have it now. You have it now. So as you go forward, you can still use it. When is the right time to know you're ready to date? I believe if you are going through a divorce, you can check my video about dealing with divorce and make sure that you've done all of those things. If you're not dealing with divorce and maybe you've just been single for a while, dealing with a heartbreak or something like that, I recommend that you really take some time to enjoy not being committed, not answering to another person, and finding yourself again. We all know that when we get coupled up, we're in commitment. There's certain pieces of ourselves that we can neglect, we can lose. So I would recommend taking some time to assess what went wrong in the previous relationship, assess what it is you're attracting, and assess what you want in the future, and then assess your readiness for it. Are you ready? If it showed up tomorrow, would you mess it up? Can you be honest about that? Is it time for you to hire a guide, hire a coach that can see some of your blind spots and point them out to you and give you some strategies to use? That's what I would recommend. Dating, listen, there's plenty of people that would be interested in dating you, right? You're beautiful. My fellas, you're handsome. You're smart. All of us are accomplished at this point in our lives. You're not going to be hard up for dates. There's plenty of ways to meet people nowadays. So I would say enjoy your single time and really, assess your readiness to receive that. Yeah, Carla's clapping. Okay. That means I'm hitting something good there. All right, final call for the questions before I close it down. Final call for the questions. All right. Well, thank you all so much for tuning in. I sincerely hope that this message was helpful. As you all enter back into the dating scene, now you have a plan. You can go slow as you do so. So please remember that God is love. We are of God. So attracting love should be easy, especially when you have me as your guide. I love you all. And I was going to say see you next week, but I won't. I'm not going to see you for a few weeks. So please entertain yourself. I have lots of lives and other videos for you to watch. So please give me the watch hours, right? Monetization 2024. So watch all the videos, take your notes, put them into practice, set up a call with me so you can get some one-on-one coaching while I still have 4 slots available for one-on-one coaching. And join my free Love Attraction community. I will be posting in there every Monday to keep you guys fresh with the lives, so you can get the support there. So I'm not going to leave you, without anything. I'm just not going to be going live for the next 2 months. All right. Good night. I love you all.